Have you ever wondered if the unconditional love you feel for your children could become an unbearable burden in your old age? Have you ever thought that, despite a life of sacrifice and dedication, you could find yourself alone and forgotten by those for whom you have given everything? What if retirement, instead of being a period of well-deserved rest and personal fulfillment, became a nightmare of dependency and frustration? These uncomfortable but necessary questions take us to the heart of a profound and timeless teaching, handed down by generations of sages and spiritual teachers. A teaching that invites us to reflect on the true meaning of love, freedom, and happiness in old age. And if you make it to the end, you'll discover the 7 precious things you should never leave to your children when you retire, and how to protect them so you can live a full and satisfying life, even in the autumn of your life. But before continuing, if you are not yet a member of us, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to know when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. The autumn wind blew through the golden leaves of the maple trees surrounding the temple, bringing with it a scent of nostalgia and wisdom. The aroma of incense burned slowly in one corner, mingling with the damp smell of the earth and fallen leaves. The monk Hiroto, wrapped in his saffron robe, sat in meditation on a silk cushion, surrounded by a group of pilgrims eager to hear his teachings. Their faces, marked by time and life experiences, reflected a deep thirst for knowledge and inner peace. Dear friends, Hiroto began, his voice deep and reassuring like the sound of a distant bell. Retirement is a time of transition, a delicate step into a new phase of life. It is a time to reap the fruits of a lifetime of work and dedication, but also a time of reflection and renewal. It is a time to rediscover oneself, to cultivate one's passions, and to live each day to the fullest, without regrets and without fear. The pilgrims sat silently at his feet, listening intently, their faces illuminated by the sunlight filtering through the leaves. Some had their eyes closed, absorbing the monk's words like a sponge absorbs water. Others nodded slowly, recognizing the truth in his words. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, as if everyone present was waiting for a revelation that would change their lives forever. At this stage of life, Hiroto continued, it's important to protect what you've worked so hard to build and what you've loved so much. There are precious things that you should never leave in the hands of your children for your own good and theirs. These things are your independence, your dignity, your happiness, your wisdom, your health, your time, and your love. A young pilgrim, his eyes filled with curiosity, raised his hand. Master, he asked, could you please explain to me what you mean? Hiroto smiled kindly. Of course, son, he replied. Let us begin with independence. Do not let your desire to help your children make you dependent on them. Cultivate your own independence, both financially and emotionally, so that you can continue to live your own life with dignity and freedom. Remember that your children are adults and must learn to take care of themselves. If you help them too much, you run the risk of them not being able to face life's challenges and build their own future. Think of a tree, Hiroto continued, that grows strong and healthy thanks to its deep roots. If you cut the roots, the tree will die. Likewise, if you give up your independence, you will lose your strength and vitality. Your children need to see you as a model of autonomy and resilience, not as someone who depends on them for everything. The pilgrims nodded, understanding the importance of maintaining their independence even in old age. The second thing to protect is your dignity, the monk continued. Do not allow your children's gratitude to turn into a feeling of obligation or exploitation. Remember that you have worked hard all your life and deserve respect and appreciation. Do not allow anyone to make you feel inferior or worthless, not even your children. Hiroto told the story of an old samurai who, after a life of honorable service, had retired to live with his son and his family. The son, however, treated him with contempt, considering him a burden and an obstacle to his happiness. The old samurai, his pride wounded, decided to leave his son's home and live alone, regaining his dignity and self-respect. The third thing you shouldn't give up on is your happiness, Hiroto said with a smile. Don't sacrifice your dreams and desires to meet your children's expectations. Retirement is a time to rediscover yourself and pursue what makes you truly happy. It's never too late to learn something new, travel, take up a hobby, or just enjoy life. Hiroto told the story of an elderly woman who, after her husband died, decided to sign up for a painting class. Her children tried to dissuade her, arguing that she was too old to learn anything new. But she did not give up and continue painting, discovering a hidden talent and a new source of joy and satisfaction. Her house became filled with bright colors, and her canvases told stories of a life lived with passion and creativity. The fourth thing you should value is your wisdom, Hiroto continued. Don't let age make you feel useless or outdated. Share your experience and knowledge with your children, but don't let them tell you how to live your life. You have lived a long and rich life, and you have learned valuable lessons that you can pass on to future generations. Don't let anyone belittle your worth or ignore your wisdom. Hiroto told the story of an old farmer who, despite his advanced age, continued to work in the fields, sharing his knowledge of plants and animals with his grandchildren. His children considered him a bit stubborn, but he knew that his experience was a precious treasure that he should preserve and pass on. Every day, with patience and love, he taught his grandchildren the art of cultivating the land, respecting nature, and living in harmony with the world around them. The fifth thing you must not neglect is your health, Hiroto said with conviction. Take care of your body and mind so that you can fully enjoy your golden years. Don't neglect your own needs to meet those of your children. Health is a precious gift, and you must do everything possible to preserve it. Hiroto told the story of an elderly karate master who, despite his advanced age, continued to train every day. His children begged him to stop, worried about his health. But he knew that physical exercise was the key to keeping his body and mind fit, and he was not about to give it up. Every morning at dawn, he would get up and practice his katas with fluid and precise movements like those of a young warrior. The sixth thing to preserve is time, Hiroto said with a smile. Don't let your children monopolize your free time. Pursue your passions, cultivate your friendships, and enjoy every moment. Time is the most precious thing we have, and we must not waste it. Hiroto told the story of an elderly musician who, after a life dedicated to his career, had finally found time to play for pleasure. His children encouraged him to rest and enjoy his retirement, but he knew that music was his soul, and he could not give it up. Every day he sat at the piano and let his fingers dance across the keys, creating melodies that filled his home with joy and beauty. Another thing you must not give up on is your love, Hiroto concluded quietly. Continue to love your children unconditionally, but do not let your love turn into dependency or control. Let your children live their lives and learn from their mistakes. Only then can they grow into responsible and happy adults. Hiroto told the story of a mother who, after raising her children with love and dedication, decided to let them make their own decisions, even if it meant making mistakes. She knew that true love is not possessive or controlling, but rather leaves room for freedom and growth. This mother, instead of interfering in her children's lives, encouraged them to follow their dreams, to experiment and learn from their experiences, offering support and advice only when they asked for it. Dear friends, Hiroto added, standing up, retirement is a precious gift, a chance to live fully and realize your dreams. Don't let anyone, not even your children, deprive you of this precious opportunity. Protect your independence, your dignity, your happiness, your wisdom, your health, your time, and your love. Live your life with courage and gratitude, and let your children live theirs. The pilgrims bowed deeply, their hearts filled with gratitude for Herodotus' teachings. The sun was setting, turning the sky into shades of orange and purple. As the pilgrims walked away, carrying with them the monk's wise words, a sense of peace and serenity enveloped them. They knew that the road to happiness was long and winding, but they were ready to face it with courage and determination, guided by Herodotus' wisdom. The next day, Herodotus woke up at dawn, as was his custom. After meditating and praying, he headed to the temple garden, where a group of young monks were waiting for him for his morning lesson. Today, he told his disciples, "I want to talk to you about the importance of cultivating independence, not only in old age, but at all stages of life." The young monks listened attentively, eager to learn from their teacher's wisdom. Independence, Herodotus continued, does not mean isolation or selfishness. It means being able to make your own decisions, take your own responsibilities, and live your life according to your own values and aspirations. It means being free to love and be loved, without depending on others for your happiness. Herodotus told the story of a young monk who, after years of study and meditation, decided to leave the temple to live in the world. His fellow monks tried to dissuade him, arguing that life outside the temple was full of dangers and temptations. But he was determined to find his own way and live his life by his own rules. The young monk, Herodotus continued, faced many hardships and challenges, but he never gave up. He learned to stand on his own 2 feet, to earn a living, and to build meaningful relationships with others. Ultimately, he found his happiness and fulfillment not in the temple, but in the world, living a life that was authentic and in line with his values. The young monks listened in wonder, inspired by their companion's story. They understood that independence was not just a goal to be achieved in old age, but a value to be cultivated from an early age in order to live a full and meaningful life. Remember, Herodotus concluded that true independence is not just financial or material, but also spiritual and emotional. Cultivate your inner strength, your self-confidence, and your ability to love and be loved. Only then will you be able to live a full and meaningful life, regardless of external circumstances. The young monks bowed in gratitude, carrying Herodotus' wise words with them on their journey to enlightenment. The sun shone high in the sky, illuminating the temple garden and the smiling faces of the monks. The wind continued to blow through the leaves, carrying a message of hope and freedom.